and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. We're going to people with a tube. Hope you're feeling grand. And also when you want. Hello, everybody. Today's vid, everybody, is about my guitar collection and amps that I have at the beginning of 2021. Because I was in France, obviously, at the end of 2020, I couldn't do like the usual end of year collection rundown thing. So we're going to do it now. Well, let's start here. So, we'll start with this guitar, which most of you will know what it is. So, this was the Harley Benton kit build that Mr. Nick Oswald sent me last year. And this is the guitar I will be giving away if I ever make it to 100,000 subscribers. It was a kit build, and initially I started out kind of going, oh, I'm going to change this and I'm going to change that. But I don't really want to change much about it as it stands, as this guitar is immense. So, like I say, it's a Harley Benton kit build. It's got the original pickups, original pots, selector switch, obviously the body and the neck. It's got replacement machine heads. It's got all these kind of Clusen Deluxe machine heads, which I adore. I love. They're my favourite machine heads of all time. It's got a mint green scratch plate, which was has been on many of my guitars over the years. This scratch plate has. I believe it's got 10 to 46 Diodarios. Yep, 10 to 46 Diodario strings on it, I believe. And a Wilkinson trem that I've had for ages. I actually bought this as a replacement, a spare, just in case, on my old vintage, because I used to use a tremolo arm so much on that guitar and it used to get a beating, the one that's now in France. I bought this as a backup just in case I ever broke the original. I never did, and that says to me that he's wicked. So this tremolo is on here, so it's a Wilkinson trem. Got 3 springs, and also it's I hand painted this guitar this colour. It was actually tile paint. I've got a video series on it if you haven't seen it. It's actually red, well, kind of tile paint, and then I reliced it as well. Some of the relicking is me, some of the relicking is playing it because it's really thin paint. It just wears off. So yeah, really cool. And like I say, this guitar I'm going to be giving away if I ever make it to 100,000 subscribers, and it's immense. Initially, I was going to change the pickups and the pots, and I just don't want to because it's amazing the way it is. Like, literally amazing the way it is. I absolutely adore this guitar the way it is. It sounds great, plays great, feels great. Everything is the way it should be. There's no need to change it. It's just a great guitar. So anyway, there you go, people. To number 1. So we'll move on to. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do now. We'll go around and I'll show you the guitars I got hung up on the wall because I'm not going to get them down. So, but anyway, and I'm not going to have time to play them all because if I did play them all, we'd be here all day. So yeah. Anyway, guitar number 1, the Harley Benton kit build, 100,000 subscribers giveaway guitar. Love this guitar. It's called the Gravy Boat. Aptly named, but not by me actually, by people on the tube here. People have called it the Gravy Boat because of a headstock, which I like. Anyway, so yeah, the Gravy Boat Dave Caster, if you will. As I say, I'm going to be giving this guitar away, and I kind of don't want to give it away. I love this guitar. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's do the wall guitars, and then we'll get into the guitar racks and stuff like that, and we'll go from there. And then I'll say once we've done all the guitars, we'll do amps, and we'll go from there. So let's start over there. Okay. So starting here, this is second guitar, the Brian May guitar. I say this is a very awesome gift from my good friend Bob, and I love this guitar to pieces. It's immense, and I don't play it a lot because it's a bit weird. But I love it, and I love it for recording because of all the out-of-phase things. This is one of those guitars that, like, when you're recording a song, you need a weird guitar tone. This fits the bill, and it's really dark. The Burns Trisonic pickups are so dark on it, but it's immense, and I love it even more now. It's got 9s on it, or 8s. I forget what I put on this now. I forget if they're 9s or 8s, but either way, whatever on it, I love it even more. So that's that one. Let's go to the next one, which is the batcaster, everybody. Yes, I still have it. People say all the time, have you still got the batcaster? Of course I have. It's still here. I love this guitar. I've yet to play it since I got back from France, but that's not uncommon. but it needs some work doing with the electrics. I mean, in all fairness, it needs new electrics now because the pots on this are knackered. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at the state of the poor thing. But this guitar, I absolutely love this guitar. It's amazing. These pickups are so cool, and I love the fact, you know, it shouldn't be alive. This guitar should not be alive. The amount of horribleness it's been through, it shouldn't be alive, but it is, and we love it. So, batcaster. So moving along, let's try and not get the glare too much from the window, but there's the window. Really. So this is a very shiny guitar. So this is a thing. It's a parts caster basically. It's got like a you know, cool maple neck, really comfy maple neck, really nice neck. Kind of aftermarket hot rail humbucker single coil things. You know, it's a weird body. If I look at the body, it's wrong because there's like a bit missing. There's like, you know, it's not right, and also the jack socket's in a weird place. You can see it's just if you compare it to actual, if you look at the batcaster, and then you go across to this one, it's just wrong. And also check out the Strat button position for center line. Yeah, not quite very good, is it? Not quite very good. Neither's your English, Dave. Anyway. So yeah, so that's guitar number, whatever. I don't know, I've already lost count. So moving along, Squier Bullet, which I absolutely love and adore. This is the one I got with the Sub-Zero amp. Love this guitar, absolutely immense. Playing this the other week, and I love it. It's so cool. Bullets are just like, for me, yes, they're just so good. This is amazing. I love this guitar, and it's all as it came. I haven't changed anything on it. So yeah, Squier Bullet. Moving along, let's go over here. So this is the SX, what is it? VTG series. This is the, I did a video on this a while back, and it's like basically a copy of like a 50s Strat. I have changed the scratch plate on this to a 3-ply scratch plate because I wanted it to look a bit more like Mike McCready's Strat he had at the beginning of Pearl Jam, like 90, 91, 92 era of Pearl Jam. Mike had a cream Stratocaster with a maple neck and a white scratch plate, and so I put a 3-ply scratch plate on it to make it look a bit more like that because big Mike fan. So this guitar's really nice, really like it, really awesome sounding guitar, really very cool, very cool. Okay, moving along. So that's Vigo, the Carpathian, I don't know how you pronounce it, either way. Scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldavia. Oh, get in the eyes. Anyway, moving along. So next guitar. This is my Jimmy Strat. I've had this guitar for a long time. I think I got this guitar in 2005. Yeah, it'd have been 2005. I got it for my birthday. And I say it was initially it was a Squier Affinity, but and it was three-tone sunburst when I got it, but it's all changed now. I've had it refinished. It's actually a nitro finish, and it's all checked and marked up. It's really cool. So it's a nitro kind of like off kind of white finish. It's got Evil Sheep Experience Jimi Hendrix pickups in it, which are immense. They're some of the best pickups I've ever heard. I love them. And I say I've got a really cool. I got a reverse Fender logo for the headstock. I don't know how I'll be able to see that. Hopefully it'll be okay. I got a John Joe Gaskin cap there. Plug. And yeah, this guitar's immense. I really love it. It's hard to play being upside down. I always end up knocking the tone knob. Eventually, when I can be bothered, I don't play this guitar a lot, but I can't get rid of it because I'm very emotionally attached to it. And you know, the reason is because of who got me it, so to say. Anyway, but one day what I'm going to do when I can be bothered is I'm going to move this tone to here. So basically make this redundant. So I've just got basically a volume and a tone, and that'll do nothing. So it won't matter if I knock it about the place. That's the big issue right now, is knocking that about. Okay, so that's those. Moving over here now. So come with me, people with you. This is my old Echo 12 string. Love this guitar. It's just, I'm happy with this. I don't need another 12 string. This one suits me to the ground. And I say it was a gift from my friend John at Old Hat, and it's still got the same strings on it. I do not want to restring it. So it stays with the old strings. They work. They're not going to break, and if they do break, I'm going to cry. Anyway, so that's my Echo 12 string. I think it's like from the 70s. It's just really nice, really rich sounding acoustic guitar. The binding is missing off the side. It's got some amazing dents, cracks, breaks. I'm pretty sure the bridge is knackered. but it works. You know, it's all good. Just, you know, it's alive for now. Okay, so moving along. This is the Heartwood Revival. That's kind of been made a little bit redundant since the acquisition of the Columbus, which you'll see in a bit. But I still love this guitar, but I don't know what I'm doing with it at this point in time because it's such a good guitar. I don't want it to hang on the wall. Some of these guitars hang on the wall because I don't want to get rid of them because but they serve a purpose that I don't need every day, like some of my other guitars. Like, for instance, the Echo 12 string, I'll never get rid of this guitar, but I don't play it at all, really. I don't really play it a great deal. I'm not really an acoustic player, but I don't want to get rid of it because I need a 12 string for every now and again. And that's like a tool in a toolbox. I need that because for when I record, I'll need a 12 string at some point. So I won't ever get rid of that. Whereas the Heartwood Revival, I absolutely love this guitar to pieces, but I'm going to have to do a shootout between this and the Columbus because I'm unsure at this point in time. But either way, it's cool. I say it initially had the Bigsby, but it's now gone. My uncle's got the Bigsby now, so he's got a snake bite, which I really like. And it's just amazing. It's just an amazing guitar. I actually put the stop tail further back so the break angle wasn't drastic, and it just never goes out of tune, this thing. It just never goes out of tune. I also altered the scratch plate shape as well because I didn't like the initial shape it was. But this guitar is immense, and it's got an action to die for on this guitar. It's so easy to play. Okay, so that's the Heartwood Revival. Moving along. This is the 1962 Hofner Verythin. This isn't my guitar. This is my cousin's guitar that he didn't lend me, but when I first started playing guitar back in 2002, this basically came out of the attic of my auntie's house. It had been in there for I don't know how many years. But basically, it was stored away in the attic. We got it. It didn't work for the longest time, this guitar, but this is a guitar that's really, really cool. Like I say, it's not mine. This is basically on loan, if you will, from my cousin. And it's an okay guitar, but it fights you, and it's not the easiest thing. My friend Richard last year gave me a reproduction bridge that would have been on this thing. So got a kind of like a real-looking bridge on it there now, which is really, really cool. I would love to get an original tailpiece because the original Hofner Verythin tailpiece is absolutely gorgeous. It's like I think they call it the lyre because it looks like a lyre, and the instrument. And I would love that, but they're like 300 quid, and I can't afford 300 quid just for a tailpiece. I'd like a scratch plate as well, but again, they're so expensive to get reproduction parts of these things. But it's a gorgeous guitar, absolutely gorgeous guitar. It sounds great. What I have done though is I have flipped the bridge pickup, and the reason I've flipped the bridge pickup is when the pickup is a normal way around, these pole pieces are literally right up against this bridge, and as a result, it makes the guitar sound really thin and tinny, and it sounds rubbish. To be honest with you, the bridge pickup sounds absolutely rubbish in that normal orientation. So what I thought is that if I flip it, the pole pieces will be further away because they're just single coils. And it worked, and now I can actually use the bridge pickup, and it actually sounds really good. So if you've got a Hofner Verythin and it sounds thin and a bit kind of like, you know, crunchy, crunchy is not the right word, but hey, we're going to stick with it because that's where we are. Flip the pickup around, just turn the pickup around and put it that way. It sounds so much better. But the neck pickup on this thing is to die for. It's immense. So moving along to the final guitar on the wall is my first ever guitar. This is my Washburn Maverick series. This is the guitar I started to learn on in 2002. Still got it. Will never get rid of it. I love it. It's a 3/4 scale guitar. It's absolutely tiny, but it's so comfy. The neck on it is immense. The pickups are immense. The sound is immense. It feels so good. This guitar feels so good. And again, it just doesn't go out of tune, this thing. It's got Grover machine heads, and they've just... I'll tell you what, it's seen better days. When you get up close to this guitar, it's scuffed, scratched, dented. It's not as pristine as it looks. It looks very good on camera, but up close and personal, it's very, very... it's been battered and bruised, my old Washburn has, but I love it to bits. It's so cool. I think it looks great. I really think the guitar looks great. It's kind of offset if you kind of look at the thing. It's kind of like, it's almost like an offset, but not quite. But it's immense. I absolutely love this guitar. So there you go, people tube. That's all the guitars on the wall. So let's move on to the guitar rack here. Okay, I can move with tube. Let's move on to this guitar rack here. Okay, so first guitar is a Honner Western series. Basically, I bought this because I wanted an acoustic that looked like Rory Gallagher's Martin. I think it's a D38. I forget. I'm terrible when it comes down to remembering numbers on guitars. But I've always wanted an acoustic that looked like Rory's old Martin. And, I was driving past Cash Converters one day in town, and this was hung in the window, and it was like £40. So I was like, right, I'm having that. And it was a purchase that I initially thought would be really good, and it turned out to be really, really bad. This guitar was terrible. It sounded good. You know, the actual acoustic sound of the guitar was amazing, but the action was like a mile high. The bridge was terrible. The original machine heads were terrible. The nut was terrible. Everything was bad, basically. But everything that needed to make this guitar playable and enjoy it was rubbish. So I worked with it for as long as I could. Then I took it as far as I could take it. I changed the machine heads to these shallow machine heads, which my friend Richard gave me. From the original crappy ones, which were just terrible, and I've still got them just because I didn't want to throw them away, but they are awful. But I changed the machine heads. I put some gauge 10 acoustic strings on it because I don't like anything higher than that. It had like 12s on it when I got it or something like that. They were horrific. And I did what I could with it, but it wasn't enough. So eventually I gave it to a local luthier. And he sorted the bridge, he sorted out the saddle, he sorted out the nut, did some fret work to it, and basically when I went to pick this guitar up, it was like a totally different guitar, and it's so nice to play. It sounds great, it feels great. I've got it in E flat. But it's a gorgeous sounding acoustic guitar, and I love it. And I say it really kind of covers that itch I've got to own because I can't afford a Martin. So this covers that itch I've got to have an acoustic guitar that looks like Rory Gallagher's. It's even got the double dot on the 7th fret, which was very important for me because I needed that because that's what Rory's had. Anyway, so that's the Honner Western series. Love this guitar, and you know it's one of those things where the only acoustic I had at the time was my little Tanglewood acoustic, and it's a small bodied guitar. And I wanted a jumbo acoustic for a different sound when I recorded. Because my little Tanglewood was really kind of mid-rangey. I wanted something a bit more kind of even, and this covered those bases. So, Hofner Western series. Moving on, Honner, not Hofner. Great guitar. Okay, moving along. So, next one. You haven't seen this one yet, but this is a old vintage SG copy. And this was another gift from Mr. Bob, and it's very, very nice. I really like this guitar. It's in open C because it really sounds good in open C, and I've been playing a lot of Devon Townsend on it, and it works really well for that. But I am thinking of putting it back to... Well, I'm thinking of putting it in E flat. I don't know. We'll see. But I love this guitar. You know, I'm trying to not get it so the diffuser light's killing the camera. But there we go. It's a gorgeous... I love the transparent red. I took the scratch plate off. I still do have the scratch plate, but I took it off because I think it looks cool without it. But it's a gorgeous colour. It really is nice. And it's a weird body because it looks like it's like a two-piece body. So you've got this big bit there and then this tiny little bit on the bottom, which is a bit weird. I can't see any... Oh, no. No, I can't see any of the seams. So it's a weird thing. The neck is like a 4-piece neck, and then the head's kind of like, you know, scarf jointed on. But it's a great guitar. Love it to bits. Sounds great. The neck on it is absolutely immense. Yeah, really, really nice. And it covers that kind of itch for an SG as well, because I love SGs, but I had to get rid of mine. I had a black one, which I customized a bit a while back, and I had to get rid of it because I needed the money. But yeah, so this kind of covers that itch. So, vintage SG. Moving on. Okay, so next guitar is the Harley Benton, what's it called? The Cyst 24. Yeah, the CST. CST, yeah, Deluxe. Really cool guitar. This is a guitar that I can't see me having for the rest of my life, but for the moment I really like it. It's really cool. I love the sound of these humbuckers. These humbuckers are immense. But yeah, and it just looks fantastically gorgeous. The neck on it's amazing. I love 24 frets. Great access as well. Great guitar. Really cool. Well built. Sturdy as a rock. Okay, so moving along. I'm gonna try and get through the guitars, not as quick as I can, but quickish, because I've got a lot to cover. So moving along. Ibanez JEM Junior, which is very white. There we go. So yeah, this is my JEM Junior. Again, this is a guitar I will have for the rest of my life because I'm in love with it heavily, and it's just one of the best guitars I've ever played. I absolutely love the JEMs. And initially I was like, oh, I don't want one of those. You know, initially I was kind of like, eh. And then I demoed one of these. I don't remember when. I think it was 2016, and I fell in love with that one then, which could be this one actually. I don't know. And I wanted one ever since. So when this one came up for sale for ridiculously cheap, I bought it. It's going to get a new scratch plate soon, though. Maybe. We'll see. At this point in time, I changed the original white plate out to the pearloid one, which is kind of like more Steve standard. But yeah, either way, this guitar is immense, and it never really goes out of tune. It's just immense. These things are amazing, and I love that you can do the party trick of slack strings, tight strings. Anyway, move along. So JEM Junior. Fantastic guitars. Okay, moving along. So, next guitar in line is my Chapman. This is the ML1 Traditional. One of my favourite guitars. Again, another guitar I'll have for the rest of my life. Can I get it in the light where you can see the finish? Yeah, there you go. This guitar looks immense. Sounds immense. Plays immense. The neck on this thing is to die for. The only thing I would change on this guitar, if I could, is not have a reverse headstock. I don't like reverse headstocks. They get on my nerves. I don't like tuning underneath. But it is what it is. It's a very small fry thing. The other thing as well is I changed the position of the selector switch as well to there, because the tremolo arm gets in the way. And if you like to flick the selector switch about as much as I do, it can be a bit of a pain. But yeah, immense guitar. And it's signed by the Captain Lee Anderson there. From the Anderson interview, I got him to. I took this specifically for him to sign it, and he did. And I was never actually going to use it in the video, but that's what happened. Okay, so Chapman ML1 Traditional, love that guitar. Again, massive thanks to my friend Bob for the gift of that one. Glorious guitar. Okay, moving along. This is the vintage V6, the new one I've got. Again, I do apologise. Hopefully you can see it okay. I'm always worried about the light because the LCD screen on the Q8 makes everything look brighter than it is. So I don't know if it's really bright, but I love this guitar. It needs a new selector switch though. That's broken, so that needs doing at some point. But I say it's been customized by me and Nicole. We changed quite a bit about this. We hacked off the last fret. We changed the scratch plate. Me, Nicole, and Marjo refinished it. So it's black underneath, but on top there is the kind of creamy colour, which is what I always wanted in a V6. This is the look I wanted in a V6 Icon. Anyway, glorious guitar, sounds immense, love it to bits. Next guitar, you getting bored yet? Next guitar is a Fender Squier, literally a Fender Squier, because this is technically a Squier from 89. So this is from 1989. This is what I class as my first Fender. This is like, I'm sure I've done a video on this explaining the story, so I won't go into it in too much depth. But I remember getting this guitar. It's a bit dusty. A long time ago. I remember just like being like blown away that I had a guitar that said Fender on the headstock. I was just like, oh my god, it's actually a Fender. The neck is wafer thin. Don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but it's so skinny. It's almost it's a lot like the JEM, the neck on this guitar, but it's immense. And I love all the the aged parts on it and stuff. And this guitar is just glorious. It's a very dark sounding guitar, And I keep this guitar in E whole step down, so it's D standard. Because it just seems to work really well in D standard. It just seems to like that tuning really loads. It's been modified. Somebody put this 5-way selector in it that's not stock. It would have come with a 5-way, but this isn't the original. And as a result, when you're in position 4 and you play anywhere down here, the guitar has an Octavia kind of purple haze effect. It's really, really weird. I don't know why that is, but this guitar's immense. Love it. The neck's really skinny. The string alignment is terrible. The low E pretty much hangs off the top of the fretboard, but it doesn't get in the way of playing it, if that makes any sense. It plays really nicely. And there's a video on YouTube of me playing Bad Penny by Rory Gallagher. And that's this guitar. I'm using this guitar in that. Because I remember I started that set off where we were playing. It was in a little seaside town called Mablethorpe near here. And we started that set off. And in the first song, I broke my high E string on my white Strat. And this was my backup at the time. So I used this for the rest of the gig. And yeah, glorious guitar. Love it to bits. Sound immense as well. But very, very dark sounding. But cool guitar. So that's 1989, that guitar is. So it's kind of like, and it's weird. It was it's labelled as a Fender, but it's not a Fender. It's technically a Squier, but for some reason there's a Fender logo on it, and there's a few of them about. It's very, very weird. Okay, moving along. So the next guitar is the Tokai Gold Star sound from 1984. This guitar not only has one of the most gorgeous sunbursts I've seen on a Strat style. Well, Strat is a Strat, isn't it? Let's not be silly. It just plays and sounds immense. I changed the scratch plate to one that just looks better. The scratch plate came with, I didn't like the look of it. It just didn't look right to the guitar. Plus, it was a replacement. I'm pretty positive it wasn't the original guard. I've altered the wiring on this guitar as well. Where when I got it, this tone pot didn't work. So I've modified it. Now I've basically Rory Gallagher'd it. So we've got a master volume and a master tone there. This doesn't do anything. That's just not even wired in. It's got a 5-way selector, this guitar has, but it feels like a 3-way. Because it actually moves like a 3-way selector. But it actually has notches for position 2 and 4 if you want it, which is really quite cool. But it's an immense guitar. And like I say, it's a copy of like a 64 Strat. It's got a veneer fretboard, pearl inlays, just immense guitar. The neck on this guitar is about as close to a 64 Strat as you could get without having a 64 Strat. Been a lucky little sod and played a 64. It feels a lot like this, and these old Tokais are just insanely good. It's got big frets on it, which is always good. I do like the skinny frets as well, but I think these are nicer. Steel block tremolo, just immense. The neck on this though, my good gravy lord, it's amazing, and it has the look and the vibe of a real old Strat, and it just feels immense and it sounds great. And when I got it, it actually had a Fender logo on it, and I was like, I'm not having that. So I sanded the Fender logo off, and I was able to find a Tokai decal, and so I restored the Tokai decal, and I'm really happy about that. So it's really cool, and it's really nice to have a guitar with a veneer board as well. I like that. So next guitar you haven't seen yet either, but you will at some point. So I got this guitar in France. This is a cheap guitar. It's called a Legend. It's like, I think Aria made these guitars in the 90s. And it's basically a copy of like it's kind of like a late 50s Strat, like a 59, 60s Strat, with the kind of like 3-tone burst, single ply scratch plate, maple neck. And when I got this guitar, initially I was like, this guitar is, I'm not sure about this. Sometimes you get guitars and you're like, I don't know if this is going to be any good. Luckily, this guitar was and is immense, and I love it. And I relicked it. Well, me and my friend Nicole, we relicked it. Nicole relicked the back, and I relicked the front. And it's literally one of the coolest sounding guitars I've got. I love it. It's so cool. It looks cool as well. I really like it. I really like the way it looks. The neck is amazing. It's actually got real proper fretboard wear. I mean, somebody's played this thing. But when I got it, and we got it back to Nicole and Marjo's house, there were so many things wrong with it. Like, you know, the strings were terrible. They needed changing. Everything needed sorting. It needed fret leveling. The nut needed cutting. It just needed work. And basically, me and Nicole just basically set to it and sorted it out basically. And yeah, this the fret leveling was done by Nicole, and she did an amazing job because it plays on every fret. But she fret leveled this and re-crowned them and repolished them and did all that. So the fretwork was perfect. So yeah, this guitar's immense. So it's absolutely glorious looking as well. So I really love the way it looks. It's so cool. Okay, so we'll do this one because quite a lot of people know what this guitar is now. So this is the 1962 original Strat, which some of you out there helped me get. This is a dream guitar, this one. That's what this is. This is like one of those guitars that, like, you know, wouldn't have happened without basically your help and your support. Is just ridiculous. So I still can't believe it. I play this guitar every day. And I didn't take it with me to France because I was just too afraid to take it anywhere. I don't want to travel with it. But when I got it back, I was just so... I'd missed it. I'd missed this guitar. It's so immense. I love it to bits. It's so cool. And yeah, dream come true. Absolute dream come true. Thanks to some of you out there. Thank you so much indeed if you helped me with this, because it's just immense. And yeah, it's so cool. So what's original and what's not? The tremolo's not original. It's like a replacement 70s trem. The nut's not original anymore. It has had some rewiring done. It's been refinished black. You can see the original Fiesta Red. It was originally Fiesta Red. It was stripped in the 70s and repainted black. It's on its second refret. Yeah, because it was refretted once and then I've had it refretted again. So it's second refret on this guitar. But it's an immense guitar. Love it to bits. Okay, moving along because I'm going to run out of time. So, that's our guitar rack. Let's move over here. Okay, people of the tube. So let's start with the basically the other rack in this room. So here's the Columbus I was talking about earlier on. I do apologise about the diffuser light. I'm trying to get the guitars into a place. There we go. Where the diffuser light doesn't kill it, but the diffuser light gives better light than normal light. So this is my Columbus 335, and it literally is. It's just heavenly. I love this guitar to bits. I love the colour. I love the way it feels. I love the way it plays. Again, when I got it, it needed work, but now it's just immense. I absolutely adore this guitar. And like I say, it's really made me go, do I need the Heartwood Revival? And I'm going to do a shootout between the two, but I'm pretty positive this one's going to win out for me because the way the neck feels on this, the way the humbuckers sound, the way everything feels is just... And I love the trapeze. I like the sound. I think a trapeze sounds different to like a stop tail, but I don't know if that's true. But I love this guitar to bits. It's amazing, and yeah, it's a bolt-on. It's not a neck through or anything like that. It's a bolt-on neck, but it's literally amazing, and it's also hollow as well. There's no center block to this guitar. There is no center block. It's the only part that's solid is under the bridge here. The pickups are not onto anything solid. It's more like a free. I can't remember what it is. It's not like a free. It's like a 335, but it's like the one with P90s, which is basically hollow all the way through. Anyway, so that's my go. I've been playing that a lot actually. So moving along, we have the gold Gretsch Electromatic. This guitar is just immensely good. I love this guitar. It scratches that itch for Gretsch sounds. I love these pickups. These pickups are amazing. And this guitar has been played. The fretboard is so worn. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but hopefully okay. But the fretboard's so worn on this guitar. This guitar's seen a lot of use, and it just sounds immense. Again, trapeze tailpiece, which I absolutely love. It's gold top with a dark back. The neck on this is amazing. The action on this is amazing. It just plays like a dream and sounds even better. Just love it. So cool. So, Gretsch Electromatic gold top. Very heavenly. Heavenly. Okay, moving along. Next guitar is the Epiphone. And I have I don't know how I'll be able to see that, but I've inscribed a Y into the headstock, so it's an Epiphone now, which was a very, very cool comment from somebody in the comment section when I did my first video on this. So this isn't a real Epiphone, this is a fake, and Epiphone Black Beauty. And when I got it, obviously I felt really duped. And I did a video on why I felt duped on it and a bit kind of like stupid and this that, and the other. But I love this guitar. It's amazing. And the guy who I bought it off actually said, oh, I'll take it back and I'll give you your money back. And I didn't want my money back. I wanted the guitar. So we came to an arrangement. So I kept the guitar. And I love it. It's a great guitar. I love the fact it looks like John Frusciante's custom he had during the Mother's Milk era. And I love the 3 humbuckers. This one's wired weirdly as well, because when the switch is down, you get that pickup. When the switch is in the middle, you get that pickup. When the switch is up, you get both these. So you never get the neck or the middle together. It's when the neck's up, when the select switch is up, you get both. And it gives it a really, really cool sound. The wiring is like usual. That's the volume and tone for that pickup. That's the volume and tone for these pickups. But I like the wiring. It gives it a really distinctive little sound. And this guitar's immense. It just sounds really cool. It's microphonic to all hell. But it's so cool and I love it. And the binding's ridiculously fat. But I like it. But it's cool. Love it. And again, Les Paul custom. What's not to like? Even if it is a fake. It's all good. Okay, moving along. First ever Les Paul I owned, which is a real Epiphone. This is my Epiphone Les Paul. I got this 2003. My mum and dad bought me this for my birthday, and it's in the Tomato Super Burst, which I really don't like, but it was all there was at the time, and you know you can't be picky. But this was my main guitar until I got that black Strat over there, and then that black Strat was my main guitar for like a week or two. And then I went back to this, and then when I got my white Strat, this one basically like never saw the light of day again. And you know, but this is another guitar that I'll have for the rest of my life. I'll never get rid of it because, like I say, my mum and dad bought me this one, so I've got so much sentimental value to it. It's got a gorgeous kind of like flame kind of top to it, but I don't like tomato soup. But the colour on the back is really nice. I like the red, but done a lot of gigs with it. You know, like I say, I've done a lot of gigs with it. I've used it in a fair few videos. It's got gauge 7s on it. It's got the Billy Gibbons 7s on it. So basically, like there's just like no. It feels like there's no strings on this thing, but it's so cool, and it really works with the gauge 7s. This guitar does, because these pickups are super dark. I actually don't like these pickups at all, but the light strings really work really well with it. It's got no clean tone. It's got a crappy clean tone. This guitar, as it's not good for clean at all, but for distortion and overdrive, these pickups with the 7s, jobs are good. So, I'll say that, and this is my first ever Les Paul. This is when I wanted to be Slash, this is where I went. I wanted a gold top originally, but in the guitar shop we had, this is all, there was a choice between this, and I think it was a black custom. I forget exactly what it was, but there was a choice. There was this one and there was another one. And I think it was a black custom like that one, but the 2 pickup version. And I picked this one because I thought, well, Slash has one like this as well, so why not? So, Slash, this is your fault. But not really, is it? Let's be honest, it's all good. So, moving along. Okay, get the boat anchor out. Ugh. Okay, now this is the heaviest guitar I own. So this is the vintage Lemon Drop, the Peter Green model. And like I say, if you've been around the channel long enough, you've seen this guitar about the place. And this was my main Les Paul for a long time because it's just amazing. And it's been through quite a lot of kind of different kind of looks and incantations. I reversed the pickup a few times. It had a scratch plate. It's had different covers on. It's different wiring, different machine heads. It's on its 4th set of machine heads, which I'm actually going to stick to this time. These are actually Grover machine heads, because I wanted ones. Peter Green's had Grovers, and I wanted to get some Grovers. So it looks amazing as well. This guitar is glorious to look at. But when Peter Green passed away, I put it back to Peter Green spec. So pickup went back around the proper way. The scratch plate came off, and it's back to, and it will stay this way now for the rest of time. Because it's Peter's guitar. This is it needs to look right. And Yeah, it's immense. It's got different wiring. The original volume pot died, and I had my friend Richard rewire this, and it's rewired in a kind of like bit of a weird way, but not really. So now we've only got a master volume and a master tone on this guitar, and it's a 1 meg pot there. So we've got a 1 meg pot on the volume, which brightens up the humbuckers no end, and we've got a 500k pot on the tone, and then that doesn't do anything. That's the only original pot, but it's not wired in. And then here we've got a push-pull pot which splits the coils, so it makes it a little bit more versatile, which again isn't really very Peter Greeny, but when you're in the out of phase position, God, this guitar is so heavy. When you're in the out of phase position and you coil tap it, or split it, whichever one you want to call it, it sounds really different. It sounds really, really cool, and I like it. Neck is amazing. Love this guitar. Again, this is a guitar I will never get rid of. I don't really play it anymore, but it's one of those guitars that I'll never get rid of, just because I've used it so long and I've done so much with that guitar, and I've got such a bond and connection with it. I couldn't get rid of it. Same goes for this last one here. So the last one in this rack is my Revelation RTL 59, which I stripped the top off because it was cherry burst originally when I got it, and I don't like cherry burst, so I stripped the top off to this natural wood, and it came out all. The top didn't come off very easily, so all the dints and dents are from me basically chiseling the top. But I like it. It looks really cool, and it's like very distinctive. But this is my favorite Les Paul out of a lot of Les Pauls that I've played. This is my favorite. It sounds like I want a Les Paul to sound. These Entwistle humbuckers are just immense to me. I just love them to bits. It sounds like a Telecaster on steroids, this guitar does. It's got a big kind of like 50s kind of style neck. Not ridiculously. It's not massive. It's more right than a lot of guitars are. To a 50 a 59 or something like that. It's got a very kind of like period correct neck to its namesake, and it's just immense, and I love it. And it's got the nice red back and stripped front, and I put the reflector knobs on it because I like how tall they are. You can really grab them, and because the orientation of these knobs is different, they're not that way around. I can do volume swells really easily with the neck pickup volume knob, which I really, really like, because with the smaller kind of like top hat ones, I can't really grab them as much, but with these reflector knobs, which are really, really tall, I can really grab them and just do volume swells really well. So I really love this, but this is my favourite Les Paul, and again, this is a guitar I'll never get rid of, and if I want a Les Paul, this is my go-to guitar, to be honest with you, because it's just immense, and I love the way it looks. It reminds me of Paul Kossoff, which can't be a bad thing. And yeah, it's just immense. Absolutely immense guitar. Revelation RTL 59. I cannot recommend these guitars enough. If you're after a budget Les Paul, these. That's all I need to say. It just sounds immense. And they sound like a proper old Les Paul as well. They don't, the vintage Lemon Drop gets kind of close, but it's still too dark. Epiphones just sound way too dark. This has got real brightness to it. It's got a real twang to it. And that's what the old Les Paul sounded like, and this is kind of pretty much what an old Les Paul feels like, apart from this is really light. This is ridiculously light, this guitar, but this really does sound like an old Les Paul. It's immense. I love it to bits. So amazing. So yeah, Revelation RTL 59, my favourite Les Paul. Never get rid of it, because it's just fantastic. And it never wants to stand up in a guitar rack for some reason, I don't know why. But that's that lot. Just, if you can see people with YouTube, come here a sec. So here, there is a guitar I won't be able to show you today because it's not back yet. But if you can see here, this is basically the Fender ST-62 Strat, ready and waiting for the body to come back. So these are all the parts of the ST-62. When that comes back, I'll do a video of me obviously putting it back together and trying it out. But at this point in time, that's the ST-62. Okay, so moving on to the next section. Okay, you bored yet? Okay, so we still have more to go. So, okay, so now we're into a kind of acoustic land, if you will. So, first guitar in this acoustic rack. I've got a couple of acoustic. This is my new main acoustic. This is an Alvarez. What's this model again? The Delta series, the Delta 00, and it's just immense. It's electrified. I've got a pickup put in it, but honestly, this guitar is immense. I love this acoustic. It's so cool, and it sounds glorious. And when you plug it in, it sounds wicked as well. I've done a lot of recordings with this where I've just DI'd it straight into like an interface, and it sounds great. You know, no EQing or anything. It just sounds great straight out of the box. So happy days. So Alvarez Delta for when you need an acoustic, which I don't really a lot, but it's nice to have, and I need it every now and again for recording. So moving along, this is my kind of classical guitar section. This is my Admira Solidad nylon string acoustic classical guitar. Love this guitar. I've always wanted a really nice nylon string, and not that I can play anything worth this guitar. I'm not worthy of nylon string guitars because, you know, to play them properly you have to be, you know, immense. Anyway, but yeah, this guitar is glorious. I love this guitar. It's really nice. And I actually bought this as a secondary guitar to the next one, which is this one. And the reason why I bought that one is because I bought this one first. And this is a Kawai, made in Japan, KG45 nylon string. This is from 1964 or 65. Or was it 74? I forget. But it's an old kind of like, you know, budget friendly nylon string guitar from 60s or 70s, made in Japan. And I bought this guitar, and it's in like pristine condition. I bought this guitar because, again, I wanted a nylon string, but I couldn't afford to spend too much money, and this one was really, really cheap. So I bought this guitar, and then I got it home. And it's electric as well. This one's electric. The Admira's electric as well. You can plug them in, and they sound immense plugged in, especially with reverb. Oh my lord! Okay, so I bought this one originally to kind of scratch that itch of wanting a nylon string, but I found that when I tuned this guitar to standard tuning, it sounded rubbish. And in E flat, it sounded rubbish, and in D standard, it sounded rubbish. But I put it in C standard tuning, and the guitar came alive. And it just sounds glorious. So it's in C standard tuning all the time. I don't take it out of C standard because he just loves it. And the reason I bought the Admira is because I was like, well, that's all well and good, but I don't have a classical guitar I can use in standard tuning. And I had songs I wanted nylon string on in standard tuning. And I was like, well, this sounds rubbish in standard tuning. So I bought the Admira. I saved up and bought that one. So this one stays in open C. Well, open C, C standard. And it just sounds really, really cool. And I can't play classical guitar. I'm not worthy of it. Anyway, so that's about... There is one more acoustic I have to show you, but I'll go and get that in a bit. And that's my little Tanglewood. Anyway, so that's that one. So moving along. Next guitar, back to electric land. Electric Ladyland. No, don't say that, Dave. Janie Hendricks will come knocking at your door demanding money. Okay, so this is a Hondo II Zenta Strat copy from early 70s, mid 70s actually probably. And it's been messed with. It's a natural finish. It's a lovely, lovely piece of wood. It's got glorious wood grain. And it's been played loads. This is all real wear. It's been messed with though. I mean, somebody's took the original Hondo logo off, the Zenta logo off, put a Fender logo on. It's obviously not a Fender headstock. You know what I mean? This bit's too small. The curve is too small. It just isn't Fender. And you can see it's not a Fender. Also, it's got like a Les Paul style nut. Again, not Fender. But it's cool. Somebody loved it. They put really old... These are shallow machine heads. And they're from the 70s because they've got like a double kind of band on it. You've got one kind of screw that comes out the bottom and then one screw that comes out the top. So they're old shallows. They only have one now. They only have one screw. These have got two. Somebody had hardtailed it as well. They drilled through the body to hardtail it. And when I got this guitar, it wouldn't play in tune for the life of me. I couldn't get it intonated. And I took it to the local guitar luthier here. And he said the bridge is too far forward. So he moved the bridge back and now we can actually intonate the thing. And it plays really cool and it sounds great. It's got the holes from the original scratch plate, holes from the original bridge cover still visible. The body is oversized. It's like a really big guitar. It's not a normal Strat body. It's got fingerprints on it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but yeah, there. You can see somebody's fingers. I don't know whose they are. I don't know if that comes from a factory or the original, like, you know, the owner of this guitar. But I love this guitar, and this is the guitar I wrote the riff to Never Fade on. But at the time, I couldn't intonate the guitar properly to record it, and the whole song Never Fade was recorded on the 62. And it was the first song I recorded on the 62. But Never Fade was actually written on this guitar. This is technically the Never Fade guitar, but and I love it to bits. It needs a refret, to be honest with you, but it's amazing. I've changed the scratch plate as well. This is actually the scratch plate off my vintage that's now in France. This is a scratch plate off the original scratch plate. But the original scratch plate came with was terrible. It was knackered. Somebody swimming pooled it, so it's totally hollow in here. Somebody chiseled it out, and it's really rough. But I'm kind of grateful for that because it's such a heavy guitar as it is. Anyway, so that's a Hondo II Zenta. So it would have said Hondo II here, where the Fender logo is, and on this round bit here, it would have said Zenta, which, coincidentally, is what my next guitar is. So, this guitar is a Tysko made Zenta. It doesn't have the logo anymore, but up here it would have said Zenta, which is really cool. I found this out recently, that basically this guitar and that guitar are related by brand name. So they're both Zentas. So this is basically a precursor to that thing. And this is glorious. I love this guitar in every way. This was my travel guitar. This is a guitar when I was driving down to France, this was a guitar that was in the front seat with me. Traveling back from France, this guitar was in the front seat with me. I was playing it on the Eurotunnel. I played it every time I stopped, and I love it to bits. It's so cool. And this is the guitar. I recorded an album called 5. I don't remember when. And it was basically this guitar for the entire album because it just works really well and it just sounds really cool. It's got a real kind of Jack Whitey thing. It's wired in a really weird way though. Let me try and get... I don't know how well you get to see it. I don't know if the diffuser light's making it really white. But when the select switch is forward, you get the neck pickup only. In the middle, you get these two. And when it's back, you get them two. So it's never kind of one or... You can't just get that pickup and you can't just get that pickup. You know, you can only get the neck pickup alone. And then you got a volume and a tone. And then you got like a tone bypass. So it's like basically a mad switch. Where basically when the switch is down... you have no tone control and it's just really, really bright. When it's up, the tone control's engaged. It's really, really weird, but super cool. And I love the fact that this and the natural Strat are related by a brand name. And this one's, I don't know how old this one is, but I would say it's early 70s. Or is it the 60s? It's got a lot of appointments of a 60s Tysko, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, final guitar here at this point in time, and now I need to go and get the others. Okay, so this guitar you haven't seen yet either. I bought this the other day. This is a Audition made by Tysko. From what I can tell, this is from the 60s. I don't know the exact date. You can't be 100% sure. But I went to buy this the other day. I'm not going to talk too much about this. And I love it. So I'm not going to say anything other than that at this point in time because I want to do a video on this one. And I did do a video of me going to get this, which you will see. Anyway, so I'm not going to say too much about that one right now. We'll get to it when we get to it. Okay, so... we're not done. Moving on. Okay, people tube. Moving on. So we're in a different room now. So next guitar on the collection list is my Squier vintage modified Jag. Again, this is a guitar I have for the rest of my life. Never get rid of this guitar. Just love it to bits. It's just immense. I just love it. Covers all those Jag needs. I would like another Jag in Fiesta Red, but I'm happy to wait for that one. So that's that. By magic. Okay, so this is my bass. So this is a 1970s Columbus jazz bass copy that I've working on for a long time to get it right. It took a lot of work this bass did to get right. It needs a new nut really, but other than that, it's wicked. This is the bass I used to record. I don't really play it other than that, and it's just immense. And I love it, and it looks great. I love the tortoiseshell guard, I love the maple neck, the block inlays, black binding. It's just immense. Absolutely immense. Glorious, glorious neck on this. It's like a P-bass neck though. It's massive. It's so fat. So anyway, that's my bass. So moving along. So we'll finish there. So start here. My only Telecaster. This is my Oswald Telecaster that Nick made for me. I don't remember when, but it's just immense. It feels so light now compared to the bass, but I just love this guitar. It's really aged. I love it so much, and it just sounds immense. And it's yes, perfect Telecaster for me. It's got the contours, the Strat kind of contours. So it's got the belly cut and the arm chamfer, which is something I wanted. I also wanted it thinner as well. This is actually Stratocaster thickness in the body. It's not Telecaster thickness. Because I don't really get on with Telecasters in a normal thing, so it needed to be modified. But I needed a Telecaster because I love Telecasters. You know, it's hard not to love a Telecaster. But I don't like the shape, like the bulky shape of them gets in the way and sometimes. So we had to do a certain couple of things. And the neck on this is a copy of this one, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, this is the first Oswald in the rack. Not the first Oswald I got. That is this one. Okay, so put that back. It's actually really hard to put guitars back in the rack when I'm on knelt down. So this is the first Oswald I got back in 2017. February 2017. 2018 I got this. Was it 2017. Sorry. And this is the first guitar Nick made for me. And it's basically a copy of John Frusciante's 55. I'm just going to put the camera a bit further down, actually, because you can't really see it and I'm going to hold the guitar up. But this guitar is immense. I love it. It's had a few replacement parts over me owning it. Like it's got like a different scratch plate, different pickups. Other than that, it is what it is. You know, it's how it came. Apart from the fact it's a bit more marked up than it was when I got it. It came pristine. None of this is relicking. That's me playing it. All the dints and dents on this guitar, and none of it's relicked. It's all proper wear. I haven't faked any of this. So yeah, so glorious. And compared to this one, which I did. Okay, so I'm going to stand up because that's just uncomfortable. Okay, so next guitar is my Oswald John Frusciante relic. Replica relic. And this is a guitar that basically kind of like Nick made the body and the neck for me as a one-off, basically. And I put it together and basically assembled it. And yeah, just covers those itch for I want to be John Frusciante thing. It's got a lot of different kind of weird parts on it. So it's got Nick's pickups in it though. They're Nick's 62 pickups. It's got mint green scratch plate. It's got kind of like vintage spec reissue pots, but it has got a 5-way, which I didn't want, but I couldn't find a 3-way at the time. It's got crazy parts, steel block Fender reissue tremolo with Pat Pending saddles. It's got crazy parts, Cluson Deluxe machine head reissues. Yeah, there's the back, everybody. I haven't showed the back. And then there's John. But yeah, I love this guitar. So cool. And it's like, okay, my little homage to John. If I ever meet John, which won't ever happen, but if I ever meet him, I want him to sign this guitar. And that'd make me very happy. I don't think that'll ever happen, but it'd be nice if it did. One can dream, can't we, people of the tube? Anyway, so that's my John Frusciante replica Oswald. So this is the third Oswald I got from Nick. The fourth is now one of my best friends of all time. This is obviously my red Oswald, and this guitar is magical. There's only a few guitars in this collection that are really magical, and this is one of them. And I'll be forever grateful to Nick for this guitar. This is all me. That's what happens when you combine heavy plectrums and a breakup. And a breakdown as well. This is Nick's relicking, but all the pick scrap, all the wood that's took away there is all me, because I was using, wasn't in a very good place, so the guitar caught it, and this is basically the only guitar I played for all that time, and I just love this guitar. It's just immense in every way. I love the fact it's hardtail. I don't miss the tremolo when I play this guitar, which I thought, which initially was weird for me, because I was like, I'm going to miss the trem, and I just don't miss it. So, and I just love it to bits. This guitar is just immense, and I love the holy cow strap that's on it. It's just, yeah, this guitar is perfect. This is one of those guitars where you just like, it's perfect. I haven't changed the string action since I got it. I have changed the strings. I haven't changed the pickup heights. I haven't changed anything on this guitar. It is how it came. And I say it's just wearing in. And I love it to bits. It's so good. And it just is magical. And I say it's just one of those guitars where it's just perfect. Okay, so speaking of perfect guitars, so the newest Oswald, which you'd have seen in a video by now, this incredible looking thing is just stunning. I don't know what to say about this guitar. So we've got a roasted ash body, rosewood neck, full rosewood neck, and my god, it's just insanely good. This guitar is. I'll tell you what as well. It's weird because it's not like the pickups aren't like usual Strat pickups. They're quite high output. They're more almost P90-ish, and I like it. It's got a bit more poke to it. The only thing I've changed on this guitar is I've 5-springed it because the tremolo was a bit too light for me as it stood with 3. So I put 4 in, kind of better. Put 5 in. Excuse me, job's a good one. But I love this guitar. And again, basically these guitars are the ones that are going to be with me for life as well. None of the guitars you've seen, all these ones in this rack, I will never get rid of these guitars unless something really goes wrong, which touch wood, they never will. So that's a very big ask of the universe because things always go wrong, as we know, people of the tube. But hopefully nothing too bad to the point I have to sacrifice selling some of these guitars, which would just break my heart. But yeah, so this guitar's immense. Nick, you're a legend. I love your guitars so much. I haven't played a bad one. I highly doubt I ever will play a bad one. And this one is just ridiculous. Those all are ridiculous. And I'm just forever grateful for you, to you for these guitars. Because they're beyond my wildest dreams. They really are. And this one's just immense. And it's such a tactile experience, this guitar is, because you can feel all the wood grain, which is so cool. And everybody who's seen it is just kind of like, oh my god. It really is. When you get close to this guitar, it has got the wow factor in a good way. Okay, so 3 more to go, people of the tube. 3 more to go. I need to go and get these other 2 out of the attic though, which is going to be a good fun job in a minute. But my number 1 guitar, the guitar that I gauge all other guitars by, and this has been my number 1 guitar forever, is my 2002 Mexico 60s reissue Strat. This is it. There we go. So this is my best friend. And like I say, I don't need to say much more about this. There's Jimmy and my grandma on the headstock. It's just my best mate, this guitar is. And where this guitar is, I will be. And I love this guitar more than kind of like, it goes beyond. This isn't just a guitar anymore. This is so much more than just a guitar. It's just immense now. So yeah, I love it to bits. And it's just, we've done so many gigs and so many songs and so many recordings, and I've learned everything I've learned on guitar has been on this guitar. And it's just been, we've been through so much together, and like I say, because of that, it's my best mate. And it's definitely worn. It was white when I got it. It probably looks white on the camera, but it's not. It's more of a yellow colour now. And just immense. And a lot of people say, I can't see the logo. No, the headstock's really tinted itself off, and the logo is quite hard to pick up from a distance. But it is still there. But yeah, it's on its 4th refret. It needs another refret, so it'll be its 5th refret, just to give you an idea how much I've played it. So it needs another refret, which will be its 5th soon. There's a little bit of life left in it, but it's starting to choke. Yeah, it's starting to go a bit funny. So it's started to. It'll need a new refret within this year, definitely. So it'll be its 5th. And yeah, just my best mate, and I couldn't live without this guitar. I wouldn't want to either. So that's those lot. Like I say, this is kind of like the rack of my main guitars that I go to. So like I say, my main two in here being obviously the Mr. White here and Mr. Red, and you know, I just love them all. So anyway, so we have two more, and then we'll move on to amps. Okay, people, I've decided this video is quite long as it is. I'm going to do amps in a separate video. So the next video, I'll cover amplifiers. But, well, in about a week or so, I'll cover amplifiers. Basically, I'll do like a part 2, basically, and we'll talk about amps then. But at this point in time, we'll just cover guitars, because the video is quite long, so I don't want to kind of end up... Because it'll be like a 2-hour video, and I don't think, I don't know. I just think maybe it'd be better if I did amps separately. So I'll do amps in about 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll go there first. So anyway, let's go on to the last two guitars. So, second to last guitar. Yes, it is that heavy. This is was a Gear for Music kit 12-string. And when I got it, my friend Bob gave me this, actually, because he said, like, I can't do anything with it. And when I got it, the action was, like, that high. It was terrible. It didn't, it was unplayable. You couldn't play it. It's impossible. Anyway, he gave it to me, and he says, if you can do anything with it, go ahead, So I thought, well, let's see, because an electric 12-string, which is, what it is, could be very, very handy for recording purposes. So, when my friend Marja and Nicole were over here visiting last year, we set about messing with this guitar, see if we could get it to actually play. And I'm very happy to say we succeeded, and it's a really, really awesome playing electric 12-string now. It sounds great as well, the pickups sound great. We took the Gear for Music logo off because it's extremely ugly, so that's gone. But it is a Gear for Music guitar. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat what it is. I just don't like the look of the logo because it's supremely ugly. So it kind of just ruined the look of the guitar. But the action's really comfy. I mean, it stays in tune pretty good. It stays in tune enough, you know what I mean, for if you're gonna record it. But it sounds great, and it's so easy to play. We've got the action so low that it's so easy to play, which is what you want with anything. The only problem with this guitar is it's made out of concrete. I'm pretty sure of it. It's not wood, it's concrete. Because it's so heavy. It's so heavy. It's stupidly heavy. Like, you wouldn't want to stand up and play this thing. This is heavier than the Lemon Drop. I've weighed it. And I don't know what it was, but I remember this guitar was heavier than the Lemon Drop, and the Lemon Drop weighs a ton, as it is. But it's a cool guitar to have. And again, this guitar actually lives in a case. I don't have this guitar out, because this guitar is literally just for recording purposes, if I need electric 12-string. And massive thanks to my friend Bob, and massive thanks to Nicole and Marjo for helping me fix this guitar up and getting it to work. And it's really cool, and I can see it coming. It's one of those guitars where I'll be like, one day I'll be recording a song, I'm like, I need an electric 12-string, and got one. So happy days. And it sounds really nice. The bridge pickup was amazing. I was thinking of S-squiring it, though, because the net pickup doesn't sound very good. So I'm thinking of taking that pickup out and just having just a bridge pickup, because I think it'll work. It only really sounds good on the bridge pickup. So even the kind of like position 2 with both on doesn't sound that great. So anyway, thinking of S-squiring this. What do you think, people, for Tube? Let me know in the comment section below. But really, really cool guitar. So apart from its extremely heavy weight, that when you put a strap on this thing and you stand up, it's even worse. So it's not good for your back. So it's a recording tool. This one is. This is one of those. I have it upstairs in the attic in a case because I only get it out when I need it. You know what I mean? After this video, it'll go back in its case until I need it. But it's a cool guitar, and I don't want to get rid of it because I know I'll need it at some point. Okay, so moving on to the final guitar, people with a tube. Has anyone been keeping count? Because I haven't. Okay, so final guitar of Guitar Collection 2021, beginning of 2021, is my Tanglewood Premier Series guitar. And I've had this acoustic since 2006. And this was my main acoustic for years. It's had a lot of use. The bridge came off at one point. I had to re-glue the bridge. And to be honest with you, I've retired this guitar now. This lives in its case in the attic. I don't play this guitar anymore. It's stable. It kind of stays in tune okay, but it's just... it's not very playable anymore. You know, it's quite a hard guitar to play because the action's kind of funny now, and it's not an easy guitar to play, unfortunately, anymore. It used to be a lot easier, and the action's really high on it now, and it's just a bit of a piglet to play. So but you know, like I say, I do you know, I go up to the attic and take it out of its case every now and again to make sure it's still okay and in tune. I've got it down tuned. I think it's in D standard because I'm basically storing it. I don't want immense tension on the neck, so it's in kind of like it's in D standard, so it's down a whole tone, just so there's not as much tension on it, but there's still tension on it to kind of make the truss rod happy, in my opinion. But this was my main acoustic for ages. I've written so many songs. I've done so many gigs with this. I love it, and again, I won't ever get rid of it, even though it's kind of like knacked now. But I still love it, and yeah, it's great, really, really cool. And I remember the day I went to buy this guitar, I really needed an acoustic guitar because I didn't have one at the time. It was worth a dime. I had a Stag acoustic, but it wasn't very good. And again, it didn't play very well. It wasn't a very good guitar. And so I went to buy this guitar, and there was a toss-up between this one and another Tanglewood, but this one won over them all. And it's amazing. It's so pokey. You know, it's got such a mid-range kind of bark to it, but it's so cool. But I love it, and it sounds great. It's just that it's not very stable. You know, it stays in tune okay, but not for very long. But it served me well, and like I say, I wanted to retire it because I don't want it to die. So I wanted to retire it while it was still, you know, functioning, so to say. And I say it was really creepy actually because the Alvarez came along at the perfect time when I was retiring this, and I needed a 6-string acoustic, and the Alvarez came along and, you know, basically took over this one's kind of job and said, "Don't worry, you can take a rest." You know. Anyway, I'm sure I'll get this out, you know, every now and again and play it. Not as much as I used to. I don't really play acoustic that much anyway. But anyway, there you go, people of YouTube. That's my guitar collection beginning of 2022. We'll see where we are at the end of 2022 because 2021. Sorry, doy. Did I say 2022 earlier on? Probably. I'm a year ahead. But we'll see where we are at the end of 2021. See what's survived and what's gone and what's new and what isn't. So, but yeah. So I can guarantee all those will be still here. This will still be here. The 12-string will still be here. You know. Anyway, and some of the other ones downstairs will still be here, but I can imagine some will go. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I know it's been a long one. I know there's a lot of guitars. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this vid. I hope it's been a bit of a giggle. And I would have liked to have played them all, but we'd been here till next year if I had done that. So, but I think I do have videos on pretty much all these guitars anyway. So I'm pretty sure you can find videos of them being demoed or something on my channel somewhere. But yeah. Always on the lookout for new guitars. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. I'll see you again very soon. Like I said, I'll do my amps in a couple of weeks, so about a week or so, maybe about 2 weeks, give or take, and we'll cover amplifiers on my you know what I've got there today. I didn't want to. I was going to put them in this video, and now I decided it's a bit long as it is. I don't want to kind of like, you know, bore you all to tears. So yeah. So we'll cover amps in a bit. But anyway, I will see you again, people of YouTube. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and yes, goodbye now. Thank you very much for watching. Haha, goodbye.